what you're going through. Yes, it's hard, it's tough, but we got you. You're not alone in this. To just recognize that some things we just don't have control over in life, and we have to learn to let those things go. Every journey is different.
Yeah.
There's no manual for childbirth. So you really do have to create your own safe haven. Give yourself grace. Take things literally day by day. Don't be too hard on yourself. This is a journey that God has control over.
Hi, and welcome to another episode, another season of Woman Witness Podcast of Stories at the Well. I'm your host, Leah Fortier. Here on this platform, we bring to you voices of women that are out there making a positive impact in their lives, in their families, in the community around us. Today, I have a very special topic and a very special guest. But before I get into her story, I'm going to go ahead and turn the floor over to her and bring her in and let her tell you a little bit about herself. Today, I'm going to introduce you to my guest today, Katonya Trent. Katonya is going to talk a little bit about our topic today. But before I introduce it, Katonya, hey, welcome to the Well.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being here, coming on and being a witness and sharing your story. When we received your information in our inquiry form, I knew I had to have you on. And for this upcoming season, Katonya, we are really digging deep into some of the most conversations that need to be had the absolute most. Things that I can tell you that I have kept in quiet and in silence and dealt with a lot of some of these things that we'll be talking about today alone. And that is never fun, especially when there are other people who are around you, who have an environment, who have safe spaces that you can come together and not be alone in some of those toughest times. So before we jump into our topic, Katonya, let me give the floor back to you. Introduce yourself to us. Who are you?
For those who don't know who I am, my name is Katonya Trent. I am by day a senior program accountant at a non-for-profit. I am a social impact speaker and author, creator of an amazing organization called Connected 322. And the most impactful title that I carry in life is being a mom to a former 22-weeker whom I unexpectedly delivered at home alone. And he is now 6.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so Katonya just... Oh my gosh, that is amazing. Number one. That's amazing. Oh my goodness. And I want to hear more details about that story for sure. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience?
Sure. No, absolutely. When I first found out I was pregnant, Dad and I was extremely excited. We were starting our family. Out of all the first cousins in my family, I was like the last to have a child. So I was so excited to bring this bundle of joy into the world. I went to all my doctor's appointments. I did experience morning sickness for the first trimester. My doctor reassured me everything was okay. You have nothing to worry about. I would literally go to work, come back home, and that's it, because I was always throwing up. But I got to a place where I started to gain my weight back. I started to feel good. But I, again, just always would go to work and come home. And the morning of, I woke up feeling like I was having a menstrual cycle. And I walked upstairs and I said to my boyfriend, I think I'm having contractions, just joking with him. He was getting ready to go to work. It was about 5, 6 in the morning. And he said to me, should I stay home from work? Should I, what should I do? And I was like, no, I'm just joking. So I got in bed to try to go back to sleep because it was a Sunday morning, fairly early. And he left school, he went to work, and my mind and body just wouldn't allow me to rest and to settle.
Mm.
And in that moment, my mind just kept wandering.
You're still experiencing pain?
Yes, but it wasn't pain in a way where I was concerned.
Mm-hmm.
After a while, I did reach out to the doctor because I'm like, okay, this is like recurring nonstop and I don't feel comfortable. My body, it's just like my soul would not rest.
Yeah.
And I just was not okay with how I was feeling. So I reached out to the emergency doctor's number. They called me back and they asked me, I would say a ton of like standardized questions. The questions I was asked was not solely to my experience at the time. And as a first time mom, my first pregnancy, how would I know what they should be asking? Yes.
Right.
What questions they should be thinking outside the box to ask me. And literally after I spoke to the doctor, I started to feel more pressure, pain. And I'm like, okay, something's not right. Yeah. So I did let my boyfriend know, you need to come home like immediately. And I would say like within the hour and a half, my water broke. And there was a couch we had in the bedroom. I lie down on the couch and my water broke. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I just immediately dialed 911. And I just started to have like this full out of body experience where I could see myself lying on the couch. I'm talking to the operator. And as I'm talking to her, I glanced down. I could see the head of my son is hair.
Oh my God.
Yes. So I had to physically pull him all the way out. And she instructed me to wipe his eyes, wipe his nose, to get all the fluid out. And I can tell you, I felt absolutely nothing. I know I was guided and protected by my guardian angels and God because I felt absolutely nothing. We were still protected. I'm sorry.
You were on autopilot, like whatever I got to do,
I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Woo. Yep. Yeah. And then at that moment, we were still connected by the umbilical cord. And I never saw fully like his face. Everything was like a blur. And I feel like my angels really was protecting me and guiding me and just having me do the job that needed to be done at that moment of time. And they got there fairly quickly. The responding team got there fairly quickly. They cut the cord. Unfortunately, I did walk down the flight of stairs, unknowingly what to do when a situation like this occurs. Who would know? You know, you're supposed to be put on the gurney, taken out. And
why didn't they do that?
Right.
Like, how are you supposed to know? Like, come on.
Right. Of course, after, you talk to people, medical staff, and they're like, wait, well, why were you could have died. You just like gave birth. That's considered a major surgery. And I'm like, I had no idea, but that is what happened. I walked outside a flight of stairs to the ambulance and got in the truck. And
oh my God.
Yes. And we were taken to a local hospital, which did not have a NICU, and the neonatal intensive care unit for my son to be cared for. So they had to call another hospital to come to take him.
He's 22 weeks at this point.
He's 22 weeks at this point. The hospital we went to, they were freaking out because they don't have a neonatal intensive care unit. They don't deal with premature babies. So they were... I just remembered like a scene of doctors and nurse practice, just medical staff running across the room, not knowing what to do, freaking out. There was a medical doctor there actually that had experience. So he was intubated there. But we were literally separated by a curtain. And yeah,
They're working on you. They're working on baby.
Not necessarily even working on me. I was kind of like left, just kind of like sitting there, as I can recall, for the moment before I was taken into like a room and to be examined. But it was like he was priority at the moment because he was so small.
Yeah. Oh my
So
God.
small. Yes.
Katonya, that story is so heart wrenching, and I'm so excited that it worked out. I want you to talk to some of us because you're a first time mom at this moment, right? And something like this is just like honestly unheard of. And I just heard when you said that it was your angels and God that was guiding you, and I do believe that scripture. And God said, "I will give you angels. I will give you angels that will have charge over you." That will just like come in and be your strength when you have no idea you're floating on autopilot. So I just heard that. But talk to some of us about what did you take away from that experience as far as like you moving into your nonprofit that you started? What was some of the things that you said, this needs to happen first agenda on my nonprofit connected?
Well, for one, to share my story and not afraid, excuse me, or embarrassed, because
Mm.
going through this experience, I do feel like society tends to only highlight the beauty of childbirth. There's so much that I learned through this experience. The statistics of Black women, of Black maternal health, how there is a whole community of people who have experienced a similar situation as myself. So to share my story, to create a safe space for families to be able to come on and share their stories, to not feel ashamed, embarrassed, or feel like their bodies failed them, because I felt that way at some point in the journey, as if I had done something wrong. And I didn't. I went to every doctor's appointment. I did everything that I was supposed to do within that pregnancy. So that was for me key, to share my story and not to let the next woman know that what you're going through, yes, it's hard, it's tough, but we got you. You're not alone in this.
Yeah, let's talk about that right there, Katanya. That shame, which prevents a lot of people from sharing their stories, right? And I'm glad that you said that because I believe that every pregnancy is different, right?
Yeah.
And in our minds, we think it's going to be just amazing, Instagram special, and everyone's following, figure out how beautiful the process is, but that point where you get to you're saying, you know what, everything did not work out the way I wanted it to, and what could I have done differently? Talk to some of those moms about that if you don't mind. I want to dig deeper into that because you have a lot of moms and a lot of dads who are still, kicking themselves, saying, "Man, I shouldn't have went to work. Man, I should have listened to myself." All those woulda, coulda, shoulda. Talk to some of us about that. How to get out of that place of shame or guilt.
Well, for one, I'm going to say don't be afraid to reach out to a therapist. Because mental health is real, and especially in the Black community, we tend to shy away from those type of resources, but that is key, number one. And to just recognize that some things we just don't have control over in life, and we have to learn to let those things go. It's so hard, and I know it's cliche to say, it is what it is, but it
Yeah.
really truly is. You can't change what happened, or you can't, like, I couldn't change what happened that day. So I had to come to terms with it. I had to create my own way of celebrating the milestones, celebrating the first time he opened his eyes, the first time he sucked the bottle, the first time he cried. I waited months and weeks for this. So those were the things that I tried to focus on and not get so caught up on the things that were going wrong, or what society placed or displayed as what should happen during this time frame of when you have a child. Every journey is different.
Yeah.
There's no manual for childbirth. So you really do have to create your own safe haven space and happiness when it comes to your own journey, and especially when you have a traumatic birth. You really have to dig deep and dive into that, and surround yourself with people who are going to love and support you no matter what happens. Create a
Yeah.
village for yourself, and sometimes that village may not look like family or close friends. And I always recommend people to connect with those who are going through something in a similar situation, connecting with another mom while you're at the hospital, another dad, another family. Um, it doesn't take away the pain, but it does ease it in some kind of way. Some weird, strange way, it eases the journey.
Because you're not holding it all in. You can actually say, here's how I'm feeling today. And someone will be able to say, you know what, me too, I've been there. Katonya, I want a lot of moms who are listening to this, and some may be preemie moms, maybe going through it or just, kind of getting ready, or I don't know, not getting ready, but gone through it, or know someone who has been through it. Talk to us about that process.
Well, for one, my heart goes out to you because this is a quote unquote, I call it a secret society that no one wants to be a part of. Give yourself grace. Take things literally day by day. Don't be too hard on yourself. This is a journey that God has control over. Not no doctor, no nurse, mom, dad. You literally have to tap into your faith, higher power, and stay connected there. Journaling was kind of like a blueprint to my book, not knowing, write down those questions. No question is a dumb question. Just as simple, I would call every day before we would go up there just to get his height, weight. Those simple questions. Get involved in your child's care. Don't be afraid. Speak up and advocate for your child. If you see something, or for example, I would sit there sometimes and watch the numbers of like his breathing and his respiratory rate. And if things were falling below his range, speak up. Maybe your child needs to be repositioned. Maybe your child needs to be changed. So make sure you advocate for your baby.
I hear you said your son is 9 years old, right?
6.
6. Okay, 6 years old, and I still hear it. I hear it in your voice, and I hear you connecting back to that moment. And I'm going to tell you now, I'm all for your nonprofit, because this is someone, and if ladies, if you're listening and you know someone who needs a group to reach out to, this is what it's all about, being a witness, because you can't learn this. You can't read this in no book, because I feel and I hear your heart. Talk to us about that role. You said connecting with that higher power, connecting with God, and what role did your faith come in? And did you, for some of us who didn't grow up in church, where did you find and lean on this faith from?
It started with family, praying for me every day, because trust and believe, I was angry, and it's okay to be angry. It is. It's okay to be angry, and it's okay to tell God that you're angry. Don't be afraid to let him know what's truly on your heart and your mind. But it did start with family and friends praying for me, praying with me, sending me encouraging messages or encouraging videos, or scriptures, just something just as simple as read this, just thinking of you will really, really encourage you. And just seeing the growth of my child. Weekly, we were taken into the conference room to say, hey, this is what families do at 22 weeks. And every day we went to that hospital, and my son was kicking and swinging his arms, and they were like stick figures. And I'm like, he's fighting. We're going to fight with him.
Yes.
Every day. We're not going to give up on him. Absolutely not.
Yes.
Just like I said, just seeing him, the simple things, opening his eyes, getting a chance to hold him, and seeing him take a bottle, or just the way he's breathing, and just getting that kangaroo care with him was just all I needed to just know, like, we're going to continue to move forward with this. No doctor, no nurse can tell me that my son may never be able to walk, talk, see, hear, because he's doing all those things today, so.
I was going to ask you, what are some of those conversations, those tough conversations that, they're having with you, and how do you process that, Katonya?
That was tough. it was extremely tough for my child's father and I to be pulled in those rooms, to be told this is what families do when they have a 22 weeker, and to basically try to like push us to pull the breathing machine. Absolutely not. So stand firm in your decisions and in your faith, because we were told that he will made, we don't know what his quality of life would be like. We don't know if he'll ever be able to talk, to walk, to see, to hear. He's flipping around the couches right now, it's
Oh my gosh.
so, and I that's why I said, just stand firm in your faith and what you see, what your eyes are bear witness to. He was supposed to be growing inside of me, and we were like literally watching God's work just form right in the front of our faces each and every day.
Oh, Katonya, you're painting a picture for me. And it's so beautiful, because I want to say this, and I don't know, I just keep hearing like lean not on our own understanding, right? Because we see things and things look a certain way, but when God puts his hand on your life and he begins to work, he is doing it for a purpose. And when it comes out on the other end, however it comes out, he wants you to go back and tell others, get others excited. And I'm hearing what you're saying to me, and I'm seeing a beautiful picture, almost like I feel like a seed, right? When it's planted underground, right? And that baby was supposed to be in there, but he did that work of art in the open so everyone can see. What a testimony. Okay, I got to calm down.
I love the excitement. Trust me.
Okay. What are your hopes for creating your nonprofit? You wrote books. I mean, you wrote 2 books, right? Or
One.
one book. Okay. When you wrote that book, what were your hopes behind that story in that book?
My hopes behind writing my memoir, 22 and 6, born on 11/26, is to give other families hope, encouragement, to inspire them throughout a difficult time in their life where you have to surrender, where you feel like there's nothing left, when you feel like there's no control, to really tap in and to just lean on your faith. And that, like you said, not to lean on our own understanding.
Yeah.
Miracles do come true every single day. Yes. Every single day. And I really feel like I had him in that way for a reason, for a purpose, so I can help other families get through a difficult time in their life. Childbirth is supposed, like I said, it's supposed to be the most beautiful, beautiful thing that happened. Yeah. One of the beautiful chapters in your life. But sometimes it just don't work out that way for us. And I want people to know that it's okay if your story is not full term. If your baby don't go home right away, that is okay. It doesn't make you any less. It doesn't make you different. It is okay.
You are so right. Oh, that's good. That's good, because a lot of people get stuck in that shame and then that guilt and that, regret. Oh, I wish I should have done this. I should have done that. And I know I've been there, not on those terms, but there's a time that I'll say this too. I had another girl on, and she was talking about taking control of your body, of your medical health. And I know you said that too with your son, asking questions, saying, hey, you know what, try this. I remember when I had my first son, and I had an emergency C-section, and I was so determined to have this baby natural. Why, Katonya? Well, I was so stubborn that I just was like, I'm going to do this. And I monitored myself. If I didn't hear heart, excuse me, and I didn't hear heart, something's going on. And, I could have just went on ahead and just did the C-section, but I didn't want, in my head, I was like, this is my baby. This is my miracle baby. And I'm going to do this right. I didn't climb too many hills and swam too many seas. I'm going to have this baby natural. And I being stubborn, not understanding that God was gonna get this baby here one way or the other, and that it was okay for me to let go of my own will. It didn't make me any less of a mother. He's still here, honey,
Right.
and listen, he'd be giving me attitude and everything, but but he's still here, and things don't have to work out exactly the way that we want it to. But it takes people sharing their story in order to pull some of us out of our shame, out of our guilt, out of our ways that we feel that things are supposed to be. It doesn't, every situation doesn't have to be the same. Can you give some, looking back, what have you learned about yourself during this journey, both as a mother, as a NICU mom, and starting your nonprofit?
When I had to actually go home and hook my child up to continuous feed because he came on a G-tube, when I had to go home and make sure that oxygen monitor concentrator was working properly, when I had to be not only his mom, but his pediatrician, his gastrologist, his neurologist, his just every specialist that took care of him. When I had to go home and I had no medical staff around me, and it was just dad and I juggling things until we got like night nursing, that's when and we were still okay mentally, physically. That's when I knew.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness, Katonya. Good job. Good job. I mean, honestly, like you amazed me. I'm literally sitting here and you delivered your baby by yourself. You dang near and drove to the hospital, okay? You've been through so much, and then you came home, and then you knew that that baby needed, you advocated for him. You said no when you said yes when everybody was saying no. And then you were so brave. And I'm gonna just call it obedience because I know that it can't be easy. You are so brave and so obedient to go back and help other moms and other dads and other babies make it. Oh, thank you. Tell us about your nonprofit.
Sure. So Connected 322 is the name. It's a safe space for families to connect through stories and resources while uplifting and supporting one another. We hold monthly Instagram lives. I've just been connecting with these amazing families all over the world where people come on and share their stories and provide tips and resources from their own personal experience to families who are currently in the NICU. I give back on a quarterly basis. My goal is to hold community baby showers to families in the NICU because I almost missed out on such a great opportunity to not only celebrate myself, but celebrate my baby. When you're in a situation like that and you're in such a trauma unit is what I'm going to call it. You don't want to be celebrated. You don't want to, you don't want to celebrate things such as having the baby shower because every day you're fighting for life. You're fighting for your child's life. So I would love to be able to hold community baby showers where I can pour into families and give them essential items. So right now we're a small operation. So I give back quarterly diaper cakes where I can provide, diapers and wipes, baby wash, just things that I know that are essential for a baby. And we, like I said, just sharing resources that I come across so families can just know that they're not alone and just share my own experience and journey. And even like to this day, sharing what a 6-year-old, what a 22-weeker look like and what a 22-weeker can do now at the age of 6. So just periodically and randomly showing experiences or memories or activities that we're doing at this current age, just so families to know that there is hope. There is hope. It may not get as much, easier in the sense of like, because we know children are just hard in general to raise. You know, you need a village.
Yes, ma'am.
You need a village. But we're at age 6. He's no longer on the seizure medication. We're at age 6. He's no longer on oxygen. We're at age 6. He's eating table food. We're at age 6. He's walking. He's running. He's jumping. He's in second grade. You know, so there is hope.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Have you told him his story, Katonya?
Not in great detail.
Yeah.
But we do often look at the book and read maybe like a few things here and there. And I have like written a letter to him that I'm going to one day read to him and explain everything to him.
Write a book, Katonya. Do a children's book for him. Do a children's book for him. That'd be a perfect introduction to him. I think that young man has such a huge ministry inside of him. Oh my gosh. I haven't even seen him turn nothing, but I know he has a huge ministry inside of him, and it started with. So do that. Okay. I gotta calm down. You're getting me way too excited. How can people find you to pour into your ministry? Or if they just want to say, hey, how can I, meet up in some of these community baby showers? How can we find you?
Sure. So I can be found on Instagram and Facebook. I'm more active on Instagram at Connected Through 22. That's with a K. And yeah, feel free to reach out to me. Send me a message. Time to time have families reach out. I answer. I answer back. Even if you're in the NICU or you have questions, or if you just need someone to talk to, I am here for you. So don't ever feel like you do not have someone to support you. There's a plethora of organizations and just individuals sharing their stories and want to give back and provide hope, support, and encouragement to families that are walking through this journey.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love what you're doing, Katonya. And I didn't even literally looked up and I didn't even realize our time is
Oh my God.
soon through this. I know I can keep going, but I told you I wouldn't hold you. But
I could talk to you forever about this. So
I already know I'm so excited. And I will tell you, I would love to have you back on. And I'm thinking about just doing like anyways, we could talk offline, but I would love to have you back on. I love what you're doing. I love your ministry. I love your nonprofit, and that baby. You got to just get him on, get that book going. Okay. So if any ladies, if you're listening and you are blessed by this conversation, we ask that you take it, you share with mom. If you know of someone who is in the NICU right now, sitting there, send her this episode. Send it to her. Send her Katonya's information so she can follow and get inspired. Katonya, before I let you go and get you out of here, I want to give the floor back to you. I love for you just to leave our listeners with something encouraging to take with them throughout the week.
Don't be afraid of what you have gone through in life, because your story can help the next. Our stories are essential to not only ourselves, our children, but to our culture, to our communities. Our stories can help save lives and can help encourage the next person that are walking through a similar journey.
That is so true. That is so true. Katonya, I forgot, where can we find your book as well?
The book can be found on Amazon. And also, if you want a signed copy, feel free to direct message me and we can arrange direct delivery.
Perfect. Do you have one with you? I just feel like you have one that you can just show us. Is that the baby?
Yes, that is the baby.
Okay. Oh my gosh, my mind is going a million miles per hour. But I'm going to wait till I get off the live, and then I will tell you. Okay. Thank you, Katonya, for coming here and sharing your story, sharing your truth. I've been so inspired by you during our 36-minute conversation. And if anyone, again, ladies, if you were inspired by this, please send it to someone, send it to a sister, send it to a brother who needs to hear this, who needs their spirits lifted up. Please send it to them. We ask that you subscribe, like, follow Katonya on all social media. I'll have all of her information in the description below in that book. So perhaps you were chosen for such a time as this to write, to tell your story, your truth. Until next time. Bye-bye.